Hello, Namaste. Welcome to Authentic Life Center Pune and IKIM. Masters who are participating in Zoom and YouTube, welcome. Welcome to today's session. This is the celebratory week of Mahathir Babaji's birthday. So, our great guru, Mahathir Babaji's birthday week, we are taking beautiful initiatives which will heal the Mother Earth. We are doing the snake protection. We are involving in protecting the nature, plants, saving rivers, and cows. So, as a part of all these things, Masters, we are also focusing on saving the mental health, saving the youth. So, if we protect our youth, they will definitely protect every one of us in future. So, the mental illness is a silent killer in today's society, Masters. Although we don't say this loudly, we are all are suffering with the mental illness. So, it is very unpopular, it is very less spoken about this topic. So we all know, Masters, we are all living abroad. Most of us are living abroad, and we are bringing our children here, and we all are having, children from age below the teenage and teenage. So we have this age groups. So we need to understand how the teenagers are being accepted in the society. So although we have our own shares of problems living outside of India, we also have our children being suffering with the social statuses. How do they get accepted in the society? How do they, cope up with this kind of challenges and cutthroat competition in terms of education and everywhere? So according to this, Masters, we also have a different challenge with teenage. They have a hell lot of hormonal imbalance and fluctuations going on, and it will impact their their characteristics, their personality. If we do not have a proper parenting nurture, they will definitely see for an outlet for their emotions. So they are the right prey for all the negative energies, the negative sources. So they are falling into this prey, Masters. There's so many different things that the children are getting exposed. Why not we talk about this today? So we have the famous psychotherapist, the successful strategist, the brain expert, the brain design expert here with us. She's very senior. She has come forward to educate all of us. She has real-time experience treating the patients and targeting the root cause. She she's having a very advanced brain design study technique, and she can exactly help you to get the awareness within yourself. So each of us, we know we see ourselves in a different frame with our own filters, but Masters, we have our own share of weaknesses which we are not aware of. So Dr. Vijayalakshmi Garu, she is very famous. She has brought light to so many of those gray areas. She can help us. She is a life coach. She has dealt with many couples having issues in marriage. She has helped children to cope up with the cutthroat competitions. She has helped the teenagers to cope up this, the imbalances. And also, she's also teaching many educational societies. She's been part of educational societies, and she's an owner and leadership. She has a lot doing. So I quickly want to introduce her to all of you. So Masters, we will definitely provide her number in below the description box. If you want to have any kind of appointments, you can please reach out to her. So let us invite Vijayalakshmi Garu. Ma'am, welcome to you. And it's an honor to welcome you, ma'am, here today, Authentic Life Center.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you so much. So thank you so much, Manasa, for having remembered me and inviting me for the session. I hope my voice is audible.
Yes, ma'am. Perfect.
Thank you. So at the outset, it's my privilege to be here on the occasion of Babaji's birthday. I'm privileged. Thank you. First and foremost, the topic today that is given to me is Save the Youth. I think in the world that I'm living in, it's not saving the youth, it is saving the parents from the youth. Because today you see there are so many challenges ahead of us, and the suffering is happening more by the parents than by the children, because the children are not listening to their parents. They suddenly seem to have found independence and they feel they are the boss of the house and they feel they can dictate terms to the parents. And parents, because of their utter love and affection, because they want to give their best to the child. So invariably, they have been pampering the kids with too much of love and affection, where there is no border of, um, there's no border of discipline, and somewhere they go overboard. So first, let us, when we talk about this complex combination of saving the youth and mental health, because mental health is again a big ocean. And today, we all know that the whole world is suffering for various reasons, and mental health has become a challenge the world over. One, because of the lack of psychologists, psychiatry, the accessibility, that is a superficial level. But if you see, every person with a brain has the ability to suffer because the way they perceive the world is not what they want. And today, I also have come to another conclusion that people suffer not because they don't get what they want, but they're focusing more on what they don't want rather than what they want. So this again comes when I go in depth into analysis of a person to understand why exactly they have, gone into mental illness, or they've gone overboard, or they're suffering and they're not happy. So when you actually probe into the depth of any case, we understand just these 2 points. One, we have useful thoughts, and two, we have useless thoughts. So whenever there are useless thoughts, it is normal that people focus on what they don't want. And when what they don't want is focused on, they sit, think, ruminate over it, and then they don't act. So failure is inevitable. But a person who focuses on useful stuff, focuses on what they want, and go ahead and get what they want, these people are successful and happy. Because finally, when you actually see a human being has so many wants which can never be satisfied. But getting clarity about what you actually want and how to get it is the crux of life. So, mental health has been a challenge because people have not understood themselves better. And then they crave so many things from the world outside, which may not be possible. So, before we go into looking at the mental health perspective, let us just study the youth today. When you see the youth today, they are not like the youth that we had. Had a very, limited life. We were brought up within boundaries. We knew what we can do, what we cannot do. And life was very limited without too many distractions. But today, because of the internet explosion, because of the whole technology having come in, everybody has access. Thanks to COVID, everybody has access to technology. Even the remotest villages have access to technology. So having access to technology can be a boon and a bane. We all know that. So as a boon, it could be a supplement to our education, supplement to the skill development, supplement to learning different skills. But it is a bane because people don't know how to use it and how to actually utilize technology to grow. Now, when you see the phase of youth is a period in our life where we are not adult, not a kid, and there are transitional bodily transitions that happen, hormonal changes that happen. So definitely we all know, that's a risk taking age, an age where people want excitement, people want, a thrill in doing certain things. Now, when we say save the youth, we need to understand, why does a youth need to be saved? One, I mean, these are all maybe because of my personal experiences, but if you see, the first and foremost, lot of potential is there in the youth today, lot of potential, but they themselves don't know what their potential is, and they don't know how to express it. And the society outside don't know how to identify the potential in each person. So when there is unrecognized talent, there is a lot of frustration too. So first, identifying the talent, identifying the potential is very important. Second, we also see the freedom to explore. When we are kids, we are allowed all the kinds of freedom we want. But as we grow up, there are certain, see, no matter how Western you are, there is a little boundary that is there to how much of freedom you can have. And getting a lot of freedom and then wanting to go beyond that limit is again, an temptation. And so people always want to go beyond those boundaries, wanting to explore things which are good and which are bad. And that becomes a challenge today. Another problem with the youth we have today is development of our identity. With parenting today, there are different kinds of parenting, of course, but allowing the child to grow, allowing that youth to explore his thoughts, being by him, but being him or her, being by them and allowing them to explore their talents, explore whatever they can do, explore the potential is also something that's lacking, because maybe sometimes even parents don't have that kind of time, energy, or the mentality, attitude to stand and support these youth. So today that's a big challenge, trying to understand children, giving them their freedom, curtailing their independence, and allowing them to develop. I think today what is actually needed for the youth, when we say save the youth, we actually need to allow them to think. Because when they think, there's not going to be any big problem. When youth understand the situation, when they think about the consequences, what does he want? How does he get it? How does it affect another person? When we think beyond ourselves and start connecting to people around and seeing the impact we leave on others, then I'm sure that there will not be as many challenges as if people are more self centered, a little more narcissistic, only thinking about themselves and not bothered about anyone else. Respect is something that the youth today want and expect from the others. But somewhere again, they have forgotten that they have to earn respect. So when you want to earn respect, they have not been taught to earn respect because they have been given everything in life and they think that being their parents' children, that they have to get respect. So earning respect, working hard, and first building an image for themselves is also very, very important. Again, independence building. Today, children are independent. Parents have given them the independence, but the youth don't feel that they are independent and they feel more restricted. Now, we can go on, the list is endless, but understanding the youth from their perspective is one story. Understanding the youth from the perspective of the parents is another story. Because parents, again, nurture the children, giving them all that they want, not allowing any child to, feel deprived. They've never said no, or they've given them whatever they want. But children don't know the value of things. And to understand this value, parents also need to develop the ability to have, more of an interaction, discuss. Sorry. So parenting is a big challenge today because parents are in the previous generation and then they stop. I mean, they cannot understand the present generation. And there is a disconnect between each generation, the lifestyle they led, and what exactly the youth expect today. Some parents, again, it's not that I'm generalizing and saying all parents are having challenges. Most parents don't have challenges, but the few that do have challenges is maybe because they are too permissive or they're too autocratic. So both those extremes can also be an issue. Trying to be more democratic, trying to be more empowering, trying to facilitate and nurture the youth is also very, very important. Today, there are a lot of challenges that are there. I don't know if this session should be a one way or a two way. I think it would be better if, the people who are participants, if they can also want an interactive mode, it would be more beneficial for them. Manasa, could this be a two-way
Yes,
where
ma'am.
people?
Interactive, ma'am. This can be interactive. Like they
Oh,
can raise their
great.
hands and they can
Wonderful,
ask you
wonderful.
questions.
Yeah, please. I think that would be better.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, they say that you can finish saying, then afterwards they
Okay.
will raise their hands
Yeah,
and they will
sure,
ask
sure,
questions
sure.
related.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we come to mental health, I have happened, I mean, I've been in practice for more than 30 years, but especially the last 10 years has been very unique, and it has been a beautiful experience because it was more of a psychological and a spiritual journey, because I happened to come across fingerprints as a tool for understanding one's brain design. So the past 10 years that I've been working on understanding people, understanding their psychology, understanding why they are the way they are. And today, I've come out with my own theory called the brain design. And all this can be understood through fingerprints. It is our genetic potential, our genetic inheritance, biological inheritance from our parents. So, through fingerprints, I can understand what kind of traits have come from the mother and from the father, and how each individual is unique, and how we need to understand them from their individual perspective rather than a generic perspective. Because when we look at a person from outside, we are looking at the overall behavior. But when you look at a person from inside, they are so unique. Their configuration is so different that there can be no one standard rule that everybody must follow. So, this is again a very tough, tricky question, because it's not everyone's ball game to understand their brain design and then how to deal with them, and not everybody is trained. But when you understand each individual, you understand each one has your own perspective. How you look at life is not the way I look at life. So when so many millions of people are looking at life from different perspectives, how do we come to one commonality? How do we come to one perspective to how things should be, and what is the truth? Because truth can never be defined when different people look at it differently. So fingerprint patterns have, I mean, with a lot of, again, lot of research, when I look at the fingerprint patterns, I have classified them into 8 categories. Now, those 8 categories talk about 8 mentalities, 8 personality types. One being the introverted, you know, very much within themselves, very secretive. The second being imaginative and very passionate about whatever they feel. The third is a very empathetic person, a very democratic person who's a holistic person, personality type. The fourth being the critical judgmental type. The fifth being instinctive and intuitive. The seventh being connecting and more of a perfectionist. Then the next one is more a comprehensive analytical type. And the last one, the focused, achievement oriented personality type. So when you look at these 8 kind of people or mindsets or personality types, how you deal with each one is different. And we cannot have one generic rule when we know that each of them have a unique configuration. So it is very important when we talk about mental health, each of those categories have a different perspective. So when we give a generic rule to everybody, it is very difficult to connect to them. So today, when I'm looking at the inside of a person and I'm looking at the outside world, the psychology which I was educated in, that world is different, because we're looking at people from outside. And all of us have to conform to the society outside, conform to the expectations, but unaware of myself, unaware of why I am feeling frustrated or unhappy, and unable to express myself explicitly. So, this is the clash that happens today. And I believe that mental health today is very, very important, because we're only talking about one core concept: happiness. Who is happy? Why is it that everyone cannot be happy? And how are we going to make sure that we attain that happiness in this one life? Now, it's only because we are not happy that we search for spiritual teachings, we search for spiritual realizations about our life. and we move towards a spiritual path because we're looking for a higher meaning to life. And then we understand, I mean, that's again my understanding, that each one of us are designed so differently, and our karmic journey takes us on a different path, each path unique from the other, but all roads lead to Rome. So finally, whoever is that one God, one force, one light, all of us have to merge into that. But the journey to reach there is several. And looking at fingerprints, understanding the psychology of a person, understanding why they're not happy, and then understanding how we all search at our own pace in our own lives, how we move towards that realization. Some achieve it, some don't. But that path to realization releases us. And again, that's another beautiful journey, which fingerprints has given me, understanding that our internal world has to be in sync with the external world, and how we search for that balance between both. And unless we disconnect from the external world and connect to the internal world, do we have these realizations. Again, this is an in-depth story that I don't want to talk about spiritualism when all of y'all are the experts in that. But understand that to know the psychology of an individual, I have approached the same psychology with a different perspective, with a lot of experience, research based on the findings of my clients. And I understand that all of us are designed differently, and we all have to search meaning through this design, because what works for me doesn't work for the next person. But we all have to go onto that path. So today, when we look at youth, they are looking forward in life. So all the time they're looking out for with hope. They are so idealistic. They want to reach out. They want to do whatever they want to do. And they're so filled with hope and positivity. But parents who have already experienced life have a sense of a limit, a boundary, a little more of a pessimistic view to life. And they try to limit the children because they said, don't focus in those areas, focus on these, because this is what takes you to a particular destination. So when we try to tailor make their life and cut the edges and streamline them towards a particular direction, definitely there is a resistance. So youth today, one have to be given that kind of uh, challenges so that they realize who they are. They have to be listened to, and parents need to connect with them equally. And parents should also have a little more open mindedness, because somewhere along the line, I think that the frustrations of one's own life could also interfere in the way we nurture our children. So the mental health of parent could affect the youth, or the youth's mental health could affect the parent, vice versa. So again, this is a very strong permutation and combinations that we have, where there is no one basic rule that we can talk about, but definitely the youth have a lot of potential. And to save them, we need to channelize, nurture, and move them up the path of realization. Even spiritual awakening should be done at that age, because normally at that age, they're more materialistic and they're not looking at the spiritual path, though they are very spiritual in nature at that point in time. See, like I see youth who will want to help, who'd want to give, who'd want to donate. But the parents would say, no, that's not your forte. No, you don't do this. You focus on your studies, focus on this. So they tend to take the children onto a different pathway. And somewhere that the spiritual aspect or the spiritual realization in them is sort of diverted. And I think if parents could work hand in hand with the children today, we could save the youth when they start questioning more on the inner awakening rather than the external achievements. Because today we have the materialistic world out there with so many temptations that sky is the limit for the type of creations that could be made and that they want. But a very simple inner answer, which they could just get by looking inwards. I'm very happy that I was given this opportunity. I don't want to go on too long. So I think it's better if we could have an interactive session, because then you can draw out whatever my experience is. So I would invite questions from the participants. That would be more interactive. Manasa, is there anyone with questions?
Masters, if you have any doubts or if you want to interact with ma'am, you can raise your hands.
Manasa, you could
We will
also
help.
ask me some questions in the meantime till they get ready. Are there any
Yes, ma'am. We
questions you
have a
have in
response,
mind?
ma'am. Meanwhile, Rajesh, he wants to ask you something.
Yeah. Yes, Rajesh.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you very
Na-
much.
Namaste.
Very nice analysis.
Thank you.
Actually, I want to ask you in the analysis you said some parents pamper too much to their kids, right?
Yes.
When we are outsiders, when we deal with those type of kids, they are very rigid people. We have to mean we are in a situation that we have to deal with them. So in that situation, how can we manage those type of rigid behaviors came from the parents of pampering?
How do you deal with them? On what basis? You are counselors?
Like family or yeah, mainly family yeah.
So when you see rigidity in a person, they are on defense. You understand? When a person is rigid, it means he doesn't want to open up. Now, they don't want to open up because they feel they're already branded, labeled, and they won't be accepted.
Yes.
So it's very important to listen to people. So you need to know how to throw questions to them, ask them some, their opinions on different issues. You should create a dialogue where you have to draw the person out from within. And for that, you have to connect to that person. Because the youth today are so confused. See, they're in the stage of forming their identity. So even they don't have clarity, and they're not social wizards to be able to, talk in public and manage people. So they will be reserved, they will be clamped up. So just a smile on our face, asking them a few questions, asking them about their opinions on different things would, sort of lay out the carpet for them to open up. If there are specific challenges you could mention, it would be more clear.
Yes, ma'am. I always try to mingle with this type of people, but it will take a little time.
No, all you have to do is have a nice, sweet smile on your face. First connect will happen there. The second is what question you're asking them, which is important for them, not for you.
Yes,
so we have to
understood.
think from their perspective, empathize with them, understand them from their perspective. Then the connect happens faster.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Srivani garu, unmute, please.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Srivani. Tell me.
Ma'am, your session was very good. Like we wanted to know a few more things about, like it is a basic question, a common question who everybody who may be posing it to you daily on daily basis. So to overcome fear, students as a like an examination point of view, and like in case if they wanted to share anything with parents or with friends or in neighborhood, how they have to share it, and like how they have to overcome the fear in all the aspects, because in the growing age they will be like due to the situations at the school level or college level, like these children they'll be facing a lot of like troubles, I feel. I have
Experiences.
to say
Yes.
that the word trouble,
Yes.
because they feel it as a trouble, like scaredness. And like I have seen some children even getting hospitalized before examinations also due to the scarcity. Like they are so much scared of it. So
Yes.
please
Yes.
do advise anything as such, ma'am, so that children can get rid of this
Sure, sure,
this
sure.
scaredness.
Okay.
Thank
First
you.
and foremost, fear happens because we tend to think about the future and what may happen. The future is unpredictable, but we tend to predict it in our mind. We over generalize. And what is a probability? It may happen, it may not happen. But when you fix yourself and say, this is going to happen and it's going to be negative, there's going to be a problem. So fear comes when we project our insecurities, our pain, our past experience into the future. That's when fear happens. So when fear comes in, we have to, especially if children have fear, as for parents, what I would suggest is the fear has to be broken down into smaller bits. So suppose it is an exam fear. Let us just suppose. First, we have to understand what is the child's past experience on the exam scenario. Has he always performed well, or has he had some failures? See, past experience plays a major role. Forget about children, even about us. Based on our past experience, we create a belief system. This will happen, this won't happen, this will be like this is this only, that will not happen, this will not happen. So when we are stuck with these belief systems, we have programmed our brain based on our past experience about what may happen or may not happen. So what happens? We are stuck in that thought process and we cannot come out of it. So when we expect something about the future and it doesn't happen, we're naturally going to have fear. Fear is also a reason because of one, lack of confidence on ourselves, lack of achievement, lack of track record, and there is no self acceptance because the person has to know what I can do, what I cannot do. Without those realistic expectations, just thinking about the future, creating an imaginary story, sitting today and not working on tomorrow, not working on making tomorrow a success is a problem. So instead of thinking about fear of what may happen, if you change your thought process to how can I make what I want happen? You just have to change the dialogue in the brain. How do I make what I want to happen happen? So if a student is thinking about exams, how are you going to get the marks you want to get? What do you think you should do to get those marks? Then the thought process changes. Then there is an inquiry into how am I going to work harder? But most of the time the fear comes because I don't do what I should do. And then I worry about the consequence. So consequence is something that we don't worry at all. Even parents, if they stop looking at consequence, but look at the effort. If a student can make an effort to reach the destination, the goal, the target, the exam, and make an effort, the effort should be recognized, not the result. But parents tend to put more emphasis on the result and say, she didn't do it, he didn't do it. They were not up to the mark. This is all they got. So especially exam fear, I feel is we need to set targets, small targets each person sets for themselves. First exam, I do so much. Next exam should be better than me. I don't compete with anyone else. I compete with myself and I improve myself. That's one. Second, what I need to do, I should do. If I don't do and I'm lazy and I expect results, it doesn't happen. Third, also, if there is a lot of planning, if there's a lot of systems in place, if I know how I'm going to study, when I'm going to study, how much I should study, fear will not happen because I have done what I need to do. Fear should come when, okay, there's some, will that question come or not? Then definitely that fear is a genuine fear because exams are unpredictable. But if you actually boil it down, what is an exam? An exam is an assessment of learning. If you have learnt it, you'll write it. If you haven't learnt it, you will not write it. If you've forgotten it, you have not remembered it. So exam is a test of your capabilities, your memory.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
fear comes when you don't do what you need to do, no? But if that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
organized, see, study skills, how you organize a concept map, how you write down notes and points, if that is correct, if a systematic working of time scheduling is done, take a lesson, break it up into small bits and work one bit at a time and then finish the entire lesson. So children today don't understand how to study also, because most of them have
Yes,
issues with
ma'am.
how to study.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do
If you're
agree.
looking at exam point of view.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Even after
So
giving them such instructions also, they might be feeling that
see,
fear.
you give
Yes,
instructions, but you're
yes, ma'am.
forgetting the child has to do it himself.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
If the child follows instructions, that is not his natural style.
Yes, yes. Yes, ma'am.
The child should want to do it, make an effort, make some mistakes, because without failure, you don't learn.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am a believer, strong believer in failure. Failure are the stepping stones to success. If you listen and do, you are dumb because you're just following orders.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
if you try it out, make a mistake, then you know what not to do, what to do.
Hmm.
So life is a learning process where we make mistakes, but we overcome them. We realize. See, what is spiritual awakening? What is spiritual path that we're taking? After we made mistakes in life, then only we say, oh God. Then only we come onto this path. Unless there is pain, there is no learning.
Hmm.
So children also, especially the youth, have to know how to accept failure and then how to work hard to it, not blame the world. You understand? Today, mental health disorders are all about blaming, playing the victim role, feeling that they're suffering, but they have not planned properly. They have not taken the right steps. They have not tried out different strategies and then learned how to do it better.
Yes, ma'am.
See, I can talk about learning so well because I'm 60 years
Yes, yes.
today, and I have been learning throughout my life till today. I'm still a student. I've joined different courses.
Yes, ma'am. Me too.
So each time I keep learning, and then every course I join, I learn, okay, how can I do it better, better, better? So I have a lot of degrees to my name.
Hmm.
Because today learning is so easy because you have to know the technique to use to get through the exam.
Hmm.
So an exam is not really so difficult if you approach it in the right manner. Fear is because of incapacity to follow a particular procedure, lack of clarity, lack of imagination, lack of confidence, lack of analysis. There could be so many reasons why that fear comes in. See, when I'm looking at fingerprint analysis, I understand exactly where people can have problems, especially you talk this one word, fear.
Hmm.
People can cause me fear. My lack of confidence can cause me fear. The
Hmm.
lack of right action can cause me fear. How
Hmm.
people will speak to me may cause me fear. My
Hmm.
vision and whether I will reach my vision or not will cause fear. When I can't decide, I am scared. When my analysis is weak, I'm always confused and don't know what to do, and I'm always fearing about the future. When I don't
Hmm.
plan properly and I don't have a process in it, in a method to what I'm doing, I'm going to have fear because there's no guarantee what will happen. What people say, if I don't have a memory and I can't remember, then I have fear. If I don't look around and see positive vibes, I have fear. So the 10 fingers, I will talk about any particular concept you talk about from these 10 fingers.
Hmm.
So when we talk about each individual has their own configuration of what that definition of fear is.
Yeah, ma'am.
I can talk generically, but my specialization is that I do it individually.
Hmm. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question, ma'am. On behalf of
Yeah.
parents and students, I'm asking you all this.
Yeah, please, please.
Like generally parents have something as such in their mind, but like reaching to certain age, children have to get their spectacles, or if a child is very good at studies, they need to have some sort of like they require some symptoms of an intelligent child, because they have to read in front of them, they have to continuously put the effort, and that should be like parent wanted to know all these things even from the child's end also. There is a communication gap between those two, parents and the students, I mean children. And like that is like some sort of a phobia. Like if at all I am good at this, I require these sort of abilities along with disabilities. So such sort of thinking is prevailing among children and parents, ma'am. How to like once when somebody will be watching this video, they will have that answer through you. So I'm asking you
So
this
you want
question.
to know how to make any child successful? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, ma'am. Parents have some phobia, like some sort of disability or ailment or symptoms. Like in case if any child is saying headache, whether that headache is natural one or realistic one or a drama by the child, parent is unable to decide. Stomach ache, parent is unable to decide, because sometimes children are taking it as an advantage to skip the exam, to skip the school, or any other further like something as such, like due to some reasons, maybe it is a fear or something else, they are doing this. Sometimes they are playing with parents, so parents are not unaware of this, and they are roaming around the hospitals. So this is all happening. So how to like how to bring the awareness among the parents as well as children, why it is
See,
happening?
actually, no, the child is not doing it deliberately, though we say psychological reasons. The child is really going through intense fear and anxiety.
Yes, ma'am.
So the child unconsciously comes up with all these symptoms of, stomach ache, vomiting, hiccups, diarrhea, whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
So the symptoms can be so many, but the core reason behind it is anxiety and fear.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, a lot of people think that students don't go to school or don't go to, even I have people who are elders who don't go to college. They don't go to college, they give some stupid reason and they don't go. Now, the parents don't know how much of it is real, and how much of it is imagined.
Yes.
Now, more than looking at the symptom of the child, also understand what is the environment the parent has created. Because normally, what the parents are the ones who trigger or who facilitate all these symptoms coming out. For
Yes,
example,
ma'am.
if you say my stomach pain or whatever, you say, yeah, it's okay. You have stomach pain. You go to school. If you have a problem, sleep in the sick room or sit in the teacher's room or student room. And then you come back in the evening, you'll be fine. The same person who is in the sick room, who quits school and stays at home, what does he do that whole day? He's watching TV. The minute the bus goes or your time to go to school goes,
yes, ma'am.
they're at home very happy. The
Yes,
whole
ma'am.
day they watch TV, they laze around, they do whatever. Now the parent should understand that what was the stomach ache till the bus or the timing to go to school happened disappeared after they stayed back at home. This is
Yes, ma'am.
clearly a psychological indication that there is nothing wrong with the child, but the child does not want to go to school. All the symptoms come up only because of anxiety. The parent immediately will blame the school and say, maybe the teacher shouted, maybe the teacher beat someone, maybe the teacher shouted somewhere. Okay, or maybe this person didn't do the homework. We're giving all these reasons. But just one simple rule, blunt. I mean, if you just categorize all of them together, there should be no escape route.
Yes, ma'am.
When we give that escape route, that is when all this happens. Like today I was just late because I had one client who had taken time till now. That girl, she's a divorced, her father, mother are divorced, and she stays with the father. Now the father is pampering her left, right, and center. He's married again. Now this girl, she has only 50% attendance being in +1. And every time she gets onto that bed and she just doesn't get off, and then she says, nobody understands my pain. And then she slits her wrist. One day she was found ready to jump off the roof. Now, when I really probed into it, there is no reason for the child to feel stress or be miserable. When I spoke to her, there is no reason. She said, in school, I have good friends, though she's from North India, come to South India syndrome. Other than that, there's no problem in school. But then why is she having so much of trauma, pain? She has suicidal thoughts. Every word the father says, she was taking it to heart. He said, yeah, I have told her to do yoga. Just that one sentence and her face just switched off. So because these children are able to boss around, control and manipulate their parents, every word the parent says is a problem for this girl because she was allowed time to take off. Parents mainly have to discipline. Without discipline, nothing happens.
Yes.
The system, the structure, there is no escape. Okay, you see what happens is when they quit school the first day or college, they stay at home and there is utter luxury in the house, utter freedom. Whereas if you go to school, you have to compete with your friends, you have to listen to your teacher, you have a lot of writing work, you have a lot of homework. So it's a lot of stress and strain going to school. The minute I taste the flavor of, more peace of mind, more freedom, I can do what I want, I will get all the symptoms to escape. Now, the child is not doing it consciously. Please understand.
Yeah.
The child will say, yes, 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 I'll go to school. Till they get ready, everything, till they go to the door. And the minute they go to the door, they'll start panicking. Especially if it's a mental disorder, they will panic. They will have anxiety attacks. And you have to pull the child out of the house and throw them in school. Once they go to school, they're fine. But from this door to that door is panic, anxiety. Now, how many parents have the guts to pull that child like that and take them in front of everyone and throw them in school? The child will act like as though the parents are cruel. Like today, she said in the privacy, she had asked her father to sit out and she said, my father beats me. Now, if I listen to her, I would be on her side. I won't be on the father's side. So I don't listen to parents and child separately. So I asked the father to come in. And then he said, yes, when do I beat her? When I beat her, when she doesn't get up and she doesn't do any work. You tell, they don't listen. Then what happens? Parents become forceful. Then the children become aggressive. And then the whole thing goes out of control. But to nip it in the bud, if there is a disciplined system and there is no escape, none of this will happen.
Yes, ma'am.
But parents, they have so much of love for their children. No, I appear like one cruel lady. Because they'll say, don't show them so much of love because the world outside is so difficult to live. Teach them how to fight. Teach them how to survive on their own. Make them independent. But the parent will think, no, 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 I have to decide. My child, I will do the best. I will give them 100%. So the children also learn to take rather than give back. And this is the fault of the parent and not the child.
Very true, ma'am. Very true. Ma'am, last and final question, please bear with me. Like
no,
these
please
days,
ask questions, no issues. Yeah.
We find many children with dyslexia and they cannot speak properly. They have speech problems. They cannot identify things. They don't want to, like very kindergarten toddlers I'm speaking about. These days it is happening as such. So repeatedly we are seeing many cases compared to the previous decade. So any such reasons for this, like in any environment or where we are going wrong, where we have to educate parents?
Okay. See, actually, all these autism, this dyslexia, all these are neurodevelopmental disorders that happen in the womb. Now, when I'm looking at fingerprints, I'm also looking at genetics and the prenatal development in the womb.
Yeah.
So when I see fingerprints, I see a beautiful brain. But when the parent comes to me with a child, they say, no, my child is like this, like that, mentally retarded, blah, blah, blah. Now, fingerprints is an index of the mind. And to reach the child, I know exactly how to reach the child by understanding their mindset. So the fingerprints is a beautiful index to reach inside, because every autistic child has a different configuration. Every mentally retarded child has a different configuration. Every dyslexic child has a different configuration. Some of them, because of good nurturance, good environment, they develop and come out properly. Some of them may not. Some of them have escape routes. Some of them are oppressed. So different parental conditions make these children, make their problem aggravated. So I look at what is the potential of that child. Forget about the problems they have. Everyone has problems. You and I also have problems. So how do we reach to that child based on their potential and what are they good at? And I work from that internal configuration of what is their strength and how to work on that strength to empower them.
Yeah, ma'am. These days we see even from the same family, one girl is like over talkative, boy is unable to speak or express anything from the same house, same environment. So parents are also worried how and why about this, all these things are happening.
Yeah, because they think all my children means all my children are the same. The father will think they're all my children, mother will think my children. But the first basic difference is mother and father. Suppose the mother is an apple and the father is a banana. So the apple and the banana will keep fighting, saying, you are red, you are yellow, you are long, you are round. Now the children are the unique configuration of that apple and that banana. So they have both elements in them. So understand that that child is unique and is not mother or father. He is someone else. He has his own identity. Even when you look at identical twins, though they look the same, you look at the fingerprints, there'll be at least some difference there.
Yes, ma'am. Difference.
So no matter 10 children will be 10 different brains. It is like coffee decoction, no? How we have 60, 40, 80, 20. Like that, even the genes are mother, father, percentage of composition is different. So I believe that we must look at everyone individually and not come out with our prescribed mode. This is right, this is wrong. He should do like this, he should do like this. Children don't do it. When we were younger, or when I was younger, those days we were taught to adjust, tolerate, and live life. But today, after COVID and with technology here, nobody knows how to adjust. So today that adjustment to, tolerate in silence is something that is such a rare entity. Everybody wants what they want. They will not adjust. A husband and wife don't adjust. The child doesn't adjust. The parents don't adjust. So this whole world is one of lack of tolerance. The mental health issues come because people one is tolerating, one is oppressing. Finally, it is survival of the fittest. For that, again, I'll go back to karma theory and say, why is this person designed like this?
Yeah.
And this is a unique journey. We cannot pass one prediction for everybody.
Of course.
But my basic root philosophy is that everyone has a potential. We are all designed differently, uniquely. We have come here with a purpose. Each one of us, unless we look inside, we will not understand that purpose. See, you can live life, face brickbats, and then realize your potential. Or you can do it when you're 2 years old. See, when I do fingerprint analysis, I do it when they're from 2. So at 2 years, if you can, because this is a lifetime analysis, it's just once that we do it and we know the person in and out. So if a child can be understood at 2 years, nurtured correctly, developed properly, we would have ideal citizens of the world. Because each person, a different language has to be spoken to. If you see this comprehensive analytical brain personality, which I told you, those people are people who are always fault finding and judgmental. The critical judgmental person is another type of personality. Those people will only look at the negative side. So how do you discipline them? If you tell them straightforward, they will not listen, they will rebel. So how to deal with each individual differently to get what you want is the crux of life.
Yeah, ma'am. But these days, as you said, people are not tolerant enough. They want switch on and off. Like once when the child reaches 5-year-old, they should be able to read newspaper. They should be able to get first rank. Everybody, they are bothered about only that.
So
Ranks and marks.
expectations is the cause of all the problem, no?
Yes, ma'am.
We have to
Yes, ma'am.
accept people the way they are. If I can't do it, you have to accept I can't do it.
Yeah.
See, even for me, when I've done my own analysis, I mean, for the past 10 years, I've been analyzing myself every minute. I don't have a memory, auditory memory. Okay. So when people tell me something, I can't remember, but I work very hard on writing and I'm a visual person. So anything to see, to write, to process, I'm fantastic. But when it comes to hearing, I cannot. But today, with all my degrees, nobody will think that I don't have an auditory memory. They'll think, oh no, you're a genius, you're very clever, you have so many PhDs. So the PhD is only I know how to organize things and get it done. But nothing stays in the brain. But I'm learning to live with that disability.
Yeah.
So all of us have some disability or the other.
Yes,
Our other areas of strength overcome or overtake those few areas of disability and make us outshine or overpower the other areas and show success to the world outside. Every individual is in pain, but everybody struggles to overcome that pain and to work on success. So even my theory, the brain design, actually I want to if this group is willing, I would circulate my book, which is a complete guide on how to analyze yourself, because I know that I cannot reach the world with so much of a population. But if my book can reach each and every household, then every person, every mother, if they understand and read my book and learn it, they will be able to at least take care of their 4 or 5 members in the family.
Yeah, please forward, ma'am, please.
Sure.
Amazing. Please share your book. And masters, whoever is watching this video out of live, please make a note that we can give you the book. You can reach out to the team admin, or else we will put ma'am's number in the description. You can reach out to her for the book.
And someone is asking for a 29-year-old son. Yeah, you can just, my number is shared. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for valuable suggestions, and many got their answers through this video. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Ma'am, you explained about the fear so very well, ma'am. So we don't have any proper definitions, having no homework done and fearing is a different fear. It's not a justifiable fear.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Also,
perfect.
You need to be qualified to fear of something.
See, all of us will fear. Without fear, no human being exists.
Yes, ma'am. You're right.
But that fear can turn into constructive fear where we work harder. See, fear is good for us. Because you're scared about the exams coming, I'm scared, so I open the books and study. If there's no fear, I won't open the books, I'll fail.
So मास्टर्स आप हिंदी में भी क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं, हम आपको ट्रांसलेट करके आपको बताएंगे. डू नॉट
हमको भी थोड़ा हिंदी मालूम है, मैं हिंदी भी बात कर सकती हूँ अगर चाहिए तो.
एक्सीलेंट मैम, ये तो ठीक होगा फिर.
नमस्ते मैम.
नमस्ते.
नमस्ते, मैं हिंदी में बात करूं?
हाँ प्लीज.
जी मैम, मेरी भी बच्ची है 12 साल की. वो ऑल्सो डिस्लेक्सिया की ये मतलब वो उसे लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटीज है।
हाँ
तो
हाँ
जैसे मुझे समझ में आ गया, मैं
हाँ
इसमें मेडिटेशन में आने के बाद मुझे समझ में आ गया, ये पहले से ही था उसको, पर वैसे वैसे मैं
हम्म
उसको ऑब्जर्व करने लगी कि क्या करे उसके उसके लिए समझ। तो मैंने पहले तो बहुत डांटती थी मैं उसे, और स्टडी के
हम्म
लिए कि
हम्म
ये ऐसा होना चाहिए ऐसे। फिर मुझे ऐसे लगा कि उससे उन्हें स्पेस देना चाहिए, तो
हम्म
मैंने उसको फ्रीडम दे दिया स्टडी के लिए।
हम्म
धीरे धीरे
हम्म
ना वो उसको खुद को ही समझ में आने लगा कि मुझे ये
यस
स्टडी करना है या नोटबुक कंप्लीट करना है। तो वो धीरे धीरे उसकी आदत वो बदलती चली गई, और नोटबुक भी अभी कंप्लीट हो गई। पर अभी ना
वेरी गुड
उसको एक आदत है
हम्म
उसकी, कि वो कहीं पर भी जाती है ना, तो उसको
हम्म
छुपा के खाने की आदत है। और जैसे
हम्म
मनी है तो तिजोरी में से लेके, हमारे पर्स में से लेके वो चुरा के फिर खाने के लिए वो चुराएगी, और बच्चों में
हम्म
बांटती है, वैसा नहीं। पर
हम्म
उसको वो समझा के वो आदत जो खाने की है वो तो छूट गई है।
हम्म
पर वो मनी के बारे में ऐसे करने लगी, तो मैंने उसको वो भी छूट दे दी कि मनी ठीक है, तुझे अगर कोई पैसा दे रहा है, मतलब रिलेटिव्स पैसे दे रहे हैं, तो मैंने उसके लिए रख दिए वो। पर वो अभी
हम्म
उसमें से भी वो निकलते लेके जाए, तो मुझे ऐसे लगता है कि वो आदत अगर उसकी हम लोगों ने मनी के लिए भी उसको फ्रीडम दे दिया, तो वो
हम्म
ज्यादा नहीं बन जाए आगे चल के। तो उसके लिए
हाँ
उसको रोकना चाहिए, या
हम्म
फिर
रोकना चाहिए।
डांटना तो नहीं है, पर रोकना चाहिए
नहीं,
या नहीं?
डांटने में कुछ नहीं होगा, क्योंकि वो चुपके चुपके जाकर वो खरीद रहे हैं।
हाँ।
सो आपको क्या मालूम होना है कि उसको खाने का इच्छा है।
हम्म।
यू गिव हिम एवरीथिंग ही वांट्स टू ईट। सी, पैसा
जी मैं
देना तो वो गलत है।
हम्म।
फूड
जी।
देना आपका कर्तव्य है ना।
हाँ हाँ।
सो यू गिव हिम थिंग्स सो ही डजंट हैव टू हाइड एंड ईट।
यस यस।
जो हम करना है वो हम करना ही है ना। उसको
हम्म
हमारा ड्यूटी नहीं लेना है वो। फूड सब कुछ हम देना ही है, वो हमारा ड्यूटी है। So
यस यस,
don't
मुझे
make him
जब
independent financially. How old is
यस
the
यस,
child? 12 years.
ये 12 ईयर।
12 years से पैसा नहीं देना है ना। They're too young.
हाँ। यस।
So जो उसको चाहिए वो मांगना है। मांगने जब वो पूछेगा तो आप देना ही है, नहीं बताना कि ना मैं नहीं दूंगी।
हम्म
बिकॉज इट्स फूड नो। अगर उसको फ्रीडम चाहिए, फ्रेंड को पार्टी जाना है, तब हम रोकेंगे। लेकिन ये तो खाने का
हम्म
मजा है ना।
हम्म।
सो दे देना, क्योंकि
जी
उसका टेस्ट अलग होता है ना।
जी, खाने के बारे में ऐसे हुआ था कि मेरा जो और एक बच्चा है, उसके छोटा भाई है, वो
हम्म
उसको एलर्जी है फूड के बारे में।
हम्म हाँ
तो वो कुछ भी खाता है तो उसको खांसी आती है, और कुछ ना कुछ बॉडी पे इन्फेक्शन होता है। तो उसके वजह से ना
ओके
वो, उसको भी हम लोग मना करते थे, क्योंकि वो उसके नहीं। तो जैसे हमें समझ में आ गया, रिलेटिव्स हमें बताने लगे कि ऐसे ऐसे करते हैं, तो वैसे मैंने
हम्म
उसको क्या दिया, मैंने मतलब वो स्कूल में जाने के बाद उसको खाना क्या चाहिए वो देना स्टार्ट कर दिया,
हम्म
और जो कुछ भी टिफिन में अच्छा अच्छा खाना बना के देने लगी। तो वो उसके
हम्म
परेशानी की रह गई है उसकी।
हम्म। या एक्चुअली ये प्रॉब्लम है कि उसको नहीं देना है तो मुझे भी नहीं देंगे ये लोग। सो इसलिए चुपके चुपके
हाँ
खाना है।
जी।
एक एक लड़के के लिए दूसरा लड़का सैक्रिफाइस नहीं होना है ना।
हाँ बट उसका ना सेटिस्फेक्शन ही नहीं होता, अगर कुछ हम लोग चीजें खरीद के भी देते हैं ना, तो उसको और
हम्म,
चाहिए।
हाँ नहीं,
तो ऐसे
आप
स्टूडेंट
क्या
को क्या
करेंगे
करें?
कि सब कुछ ओवर देना है। अगर इसका एक लॉलीपॉप चाहिए तो 10 देना। एक आइसक्रीम है तो 10 देना,
हाँ
वो नहीं खा सकते। आफ्टर सम टाइम ये डेफिशिएंसी जो है वो चले जाएगा। लेकिन अभी
हम्म
अभी उसका दिमाग में क्या है कि ये लोग नहीं देंगे। जब
हम्म
चांस है तो हम खा जाना चाहिए ऐसा।
जी।
बिकॉज ही इज थिंकिंग
मैम ये
आई कैन
जेनेटिक
नॉट
प्रॉब्लम।
गेट इट। हम्म
जी
या
जी मैम, ये आपने अभी बोला ना ये जेनेटिक है, तो
हम्म
ये मतलब हमारी मैरिज जो हुई है, मैं इसके पापा की और मेरी, वो रिलेशन में हुई है, तो उसके वजह से
हम्म
ये प्रॉब्लम होती है बच्चों में।
हाँ, हो सकता है। See, पहले don't go back and आपके दिमाग को बुरा नहीं करना, वो सब कुछ छोड़ देना, वो शादी हो गया, बच्चे पैदा हुआ, so don't go into genetic problem को नहीं देखना है। अभी ये बच्चा का क्या करना है, ये बच्चा को क्या करना है, कैसे पोषण करना है, यही आपके सोच में रख लीजिए, बाकी सब कुछ निकालो। नहीं तो आप डिप्रेस हो जाएगा कि ये शादी हुआ इसलिए ये हुआ, कारण क्यों चाहिए हमको, कैसा जीना है वही हमको देखना है।
ओके, तो मनी के लिए हमें उनको ये नहीं करना चाहिए।
नहीं, मनी नहीं देना है बच्चे को।
ओके ओके ओके, यही मुझे पूछना था। थैंक यू मैम।
एंड व्हेन दे ग्रो अप, नो, वन मोर पॉइंट, जब वो 15-16 इयर्स होगा, दोनों के लिए पैसे देंगे, तो एक बच्चा फूड खरीदेंगे, दूसरा बच्चा कोई और खिलौना खरीदेगा ना। तब जब उसको मालूम हो जाएगा कि ये खाने में हमको एलर्जी है, ये नहीं खाना है, तो वो पैसा किसी और को इस्तेमाल करेगा। वो थोड़ा बड़ा होना चाहिए ना, अभी नहीं।
हाँ, थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू
Ma'am, very good, ma'am. Very insightful information you're giving. So, ma'am, can I bring you this topic of addiction?
Yes.
Like the teenagers, they will not have a safe space to discuss about this with their parents, and they will sneak out, and they are the target for these things. And how do we create the safe space at home? And how do we educate these children not to fall into such trap? You know, the addiction is underlying slow poison, I could say, in the society now, everywhere, across the world.
Everywhere, oh yes. So addiction, first, let's put aside addiction and say, first, when people are not happy with the life they have, not because, maybe because of the world outside, but more because they lack confidence, they're insecure, or they have negative thoughts. These kind of people, first time, maybe, you know, because it is a social scenario, their friends will introduce them to drugs or addiction or alcohol or cigarette or whatever. First, it is a social phenomena because somebody will give it to them. They'll force it on them. Once they feel, yes, I like it, they will get tempted towards that. And then slowly it becomes a habit. Now, what happens is that the minute people are, why are they addicted? Is because whatever they are taking, like, you know, either okay, let us just suppose alcohol. Why are they actually consuming alcohol? Is because it is giving them confidence, or it is making them relax for different reasons. The person who works very hard will take alcohol to relax. The person who's weak will take it to give strength. So different reasons that people get addicted, and that addiction is actually compensating for a deficiency in who they are. So when people come to me with addiction, I only showcase or show them what is their strength and what is their weakness. The weakness is making them stick to that addiction, which is only a habit, nothing more. What you learn, you can unlearn. But first, the person must understand, why is he taking alcohol? Where are the challenges in his life and how to solve his problem? If the problem is solved, then addiction will get solved. But the problem here is everybody focuses on the addiction, blows it out of proportion, points a finger at them, assassinates their character, and then say, oh, he's an addict.
Wow.
A person with addiction needs a lot of care, concern, love, understanding. They must not be discriminated or looked down upon. They don't know how to solve their problem, and we must help them solve it. Simple. I mean, this is my definition.
As a parent, like, how do we solve the problem, and how do we identify the kid is or the partner is in need of attention?
First, you must see, is that person happy or not? Talk to them, find out how they feel, because we don't communicate properly. And when you talk, people clam up. Like someone asked, the question, fear. There is fear. So when there's fear, they'll close. They don't open up. So only when you're accepted do people open up.
Yes.
If there is an open environment, they won't stick to addiction in the first place because they're able to express. They're free. But when you're not free and you're stuck in your head, you're overthinking, you're over emotional. What do? You take the first support. It's like a walking stick for them.
Okay.
The support is what they need. But this nobody understands. They only point a finger and say, why is he drinking? He's finishing off the money. He's not thinking about. See, I've been trained by the de-addiction center also. So they look at various other topics. But I'm applying it based on my brain design. And trying to connect to what is the need they have. What is it that they're actually suffering from? That need can be understood if you connect to the person from their perspective. Not like this is wrong, that is wrong. I cannot pass judgments on people. I have to observe, I have to watch. If you have a spouse, anyone who's watching, if you have a spouse, or if you have a son, or if you have a parent who is addicted, first spend time and observe them. See what makes them tick. They have good, they have bad. First connect and watch them and all the good things and praise that good. They will connect. But we only point a finger, highlight the bad and make them worse. So they'll have another extra peg. And that becomes worse. Be it drugs, be it cigarettes, be it alcohol, everything is the same.
సో మేడం ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే మాస్టర్ అడిక్షన్ గురించి ఆర్ ఒక వ్యక్తి ఎందుకు అడిక్షన్ కి గురవుతాడు, అది ఆల్కహాల్ అవ్వచ్చు, డ్రగ్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఇంకా వేరే ఏదైనా అవ్వచ్చు. ఎందుకు అవుతారు అంటే ఒక వీక్నెస్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఆ మనిషిలో బలహీనత ఎప్పుడైనా వీక్నెస్ ఉంటే అది వ్యసనానికి బానిసలా మారి దాని నుంచి తను ఆ వీక్నెస్ ని తను ఒక సపోర్ట్ సిస్టమ్ లాగా మార్చుకుంటాడు. అదే మనిషికి ఎప్పుడైనా కూడా బాగా అలసిపోయి తనకి ఎప్పుడైనా రిలాక్స్ అవ్వాలనుకున్నప్పుడు కూడా ఈ అడిక్షన్ కి నెమ్మదిగా, అంటే ఒకటే పని మనం రిపీటెడ్ గా చేయడం వల్ల హ్యాబిట్ అనేది మనకి అడిక్షన్ గా మారుతుందని చెప్తున్నారు. मैडम क्या बोल रहे हैं कि जिनमें वीकनेस होते हैं, जिनमें लो कॉन्फिडेंस में रहते हैं, ये लोग एक चीज को सपोर्ट लेने के लिए देखते हैं, ये चीज होती है एडिक्शन, जो बार बार इस्तेमाल करने से ये एडिक्शन होगा क्योंकि उसमें उनको मजा आने लगेगा. ये जो वीक रहते हैं वो वीकनेस को ये एडिक्शन के सहारा से ये स्ट्रांग बनना चाहते हैं, इसलिए तो उनमें वीकनेस होता है. और दूसरे कैटेगरी के लोग ये भी होते हैं जिनमें वो रिलैक्स करना चाहते हैं, बहुत थकान के बाद में वो रिलैक्स करना चाहते हैं, तो ये अल्कोहल या जो भी चीज रहता है ना उसका ये इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं. ये दो लोगों को हम पहले आइडेंटिफाई करना है कि उनमें क्या चल रहा है, तो उनका सपोर्ट क्या चाहिए, तो क्या कमी है. हाँ,
even
तो उनसे हम कनेक्ट होना.
watching the cell phone is an addiction.
Yes.
Falling in love is an addiction. उसको मालूम है कि वो बॉयफ्रेंड ठीक तरह नहीं है, वो गलत आदमी है, लेकिन जो वो बात कर रहे हैं कनेक्ट हो रहा है. You cannot let him go.
Of course.
So I equate everything on the same wavelength. ఒక బాయ్ ఫ్రెండ్ ఎందుకు ప్రేమిస్తున్నావు, ఎందుకు వదులుకోలేకపోతున్నావు, మంచోడు కాదని తెలుసు కానీ వాడినే పట్టుకుంటాం బికాజ్ వాడు చెప్పిన మంచి మాటలు గుర్తుంటాయి, చెడుని నచ్చదు. వాడు అప్పుడు మోసగాడు ఇప్పుడు మోసగాడు కానీ వీళ్ళు అది కనిపించదు. మంచిగా చెప్పాడు అదే గుర్తు పెట్టుకొని మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ తలుచుకొని అబ్బాయిని వదలరు. అబ్బాయి కూడా అడిక్షనేగా. When you're eating, your overeating is also an addiction. So whatever you are fixed on, hooked on to, what gives you support and you consistently work on it more than needed, it is an addiction. Food, gambling, alcoholism, cigarette, drugs, having an affair, a boyfriend, anything is the same.
Any more questions, masters, if you want to ask, ma'am? Yeah, Anirudh. Please unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, thank you, madam. I was not able to unmute it. Yeah, now I'm able to.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, madam. My name is Sati. Actually, I'm talking on behalf of my son and
Okay.
daughter. And I say they're pretty good children only. The challenge is like, the screen time and these things. How I am practicing them, I'll tell you, and kindly guide me like how I
Yeah,
can
sure.
change it if I'm incorrect.
Okay.
Actually, how I do, like I don't make them study, or do something like you have to win wherever you go. You have to win. I don't say them. The reason for I am putting them in classes. Say, for example, I put them
How old
in.
are they?
My daughter is 14 and my son is 10.
Okay.
So I'm in meditation from the past 4-5 years. I don't ask them to sit for long hour meditation because it's my point of view, the kids won't sit for long hours. At least
Yes.
I try them sit for 5 or 10, 20, 5 to 20 minutes. Not every day, because instead of making them to do meditation, what I'm trying, like consistently make a practice of doing music for 15 minutes. Do yoga for 30 minutes. If you make this practice consistently, this is the meditation. And then slowly you sit for 10 minutes for focusing your mind. As a mother, I feel this is very challenging for in this, especially this social media world. Sometimes even doing after so many hours meditation, also the fear is still there with thinking of kids. I'm sorry to tell to everybody. It has
No,
to
you
go
have to
up.
be frank and honest. Very good.
Yeah, that's what. So yeah, thank you, Madam Vijaya, Madam. Thank you, Manasa, Madam, for
Okay.
allowing me to tell here. Yeah.
Yeah. So here you have to see what I said in the beginning of the session. Disciplining children and getting them into a system is very important.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Agree.
what you're doing is you're saying there is no escape. You have to do this much meditation, at least this much meditation, at least this much music.
Yeah.
What you put by force today will become a habit tomorrow.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing is right. Please continue doing that.
Okay.
Children will oppose, but if you want to, make them happy, you will become sad later on. So it is better you are happy. So keep to the system.
Yeah.
Don't give them too much of freedom. Screen time is not wrong if you know where they are watching and what they are doing.
Yeah, that 100% I agree. They don't do anything. My son especially, he don't do anything bad. Like they don't go into any negative part of the current world, but only games. Games also, mommy, I did only 30 minutes, he'll say. But but hidden thing he will do is like he'll delete
Madam, I'll
the
stop you here.
Yeah.
Games is also an addiction.
Yeah, he delete the hours of the history,
Exactly.
That is
so
yeah.
Here, why is he deleting? Is because he wants something and he has found an escape route. He's found an option to cheat you. So there, the ethics have gone down the drain because there is a chance to go through the escape route. The minute you find out, you should take away the phone. So if there is no punishment not being like beating, hitting, shouting, but removing whatever is giving him happiness, next time he will learn that he cannot tell lies with you at any cost.
Okay.
Because
Good.
character ethics is very important.
Okay.
So,
Sure,
so he must always be scared that if I am caught, I'm going to be punished. So I'd rather not cheat. I will tell the truth. If he tells the truth, give him anything he wants.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
And
agree.
you can also do another thing is when he tells the truth and he doesn't give, and your daughter is truthful. Just suppose.
No,
So
no,
you
no.
have to.
She is not truthful. You know what she does? I told her marks are down. So I told her, Amita, your marks are down because you are in the distracted world. It's up to you whether to take the decision to upgrade your grade, or if you want to continue, it will be the lower level. It's up to you. Then she deleted, deactivated her Instagram, Twitter account. I'm happy they are getting news from there. At the same time, that too much of that news is not worthful for your life.
Yes, yes.
Any
See,
information.
if they know how to balance it, see, they have to live for themselves. If they're cheating you, who are they living for? They need to understand, they need to live for themselves. They need to be honest. If they can manage their life well, they can have it 24/7. See, I'm addicted to my phone. But for me, my phone or my technology is my asset. It empowers me.
Okay.
They should know how to use the tool, not to cheat you, not for their entertainment or their pleasure, but for their growth.
Okay, ma'am.
Nowadays, technology is being used for pleasure, and that is an addiction because they want happiness.
Yeah, nowadays the schools are giving homework and all the things are happening in the device only. But only only thing we need to enforce them, use only for the use ethically. Don't use unethically. Like, don't spend too much.
Kids. Yeah, they're kids, so they cannot be ethical. Also, another rule I tell all my parents or kids who come to my office is that the cell phone is never given to the bedroom and the bathroom.
Okay.
Only hall.
Only living. Okay, sure. I make sure that.
So you have enough evidence, so they can't do anything very bad. If it's a single child, I'll say whatever you watch phone 24/7, but you project it onto the TV.
Yeah, that I make sure for my son. He sits in the living room only with the computer and the laptop and screen. He does that. But my daughter,
but no games, madam, no games, because games gives me happiness. Studies will give me pain. So for him to win in his studies, he should get better marks, and that should be his game of life.
Okay.
To excel in his academics, not excel in the game. Then he wants distraction. So that same game is taking him away from studies.
Okay, agree, ma'am.
It sharpens his thinking skill, no doubt. They're very, very sharp because the more they play, the more fast they are. But they want that excitement all the time. And today in the traditional classroom, when you have only the teacher, sitting and lecturing and some boring way of teaching, they don't like the teachers.
Yeah, that is true.
So education today is falling apart because we are not using dynamic new methodology. We are still going back to age-old ways of teaching.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Madam, do you do counseling for children?
See, I do counseling for the parent because the children are not at fault. It's the parent who has to be disciplined.
Okay.
If they're above 10 standard and they want to change, yes, for the children. But otherwise, I'd prefer parents only.
Parents, okay, sure.
Because if you change, they'll change, no? They're small children, no? They will tell lies. It's part of that age to tell lies.
Sure. Thank you so much, madam. Lovely. So thank you again.
Thank you. I mean, children enjoy life, no? So they want to enjoy life. We only have all the responsibilities, no?
Nicely told, ma'am. Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you, Manasa.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
మాట్లాడండి.
Any more questions?
Last one to speak.
మనసు గారు నేను అడగమంటారా?
Yes, sir.
Cheppandamma.
Just a small question.
Yeah.
I'm sure it must be very easy for you to clarify. In the scale of 0 to 10, when do you call something as a habit? When do you call something as a addiction?
It's a tough question because habit will automatically flow into a addiction. Habit and addiction can be used synonymously because both are, I mean, depends on what they are addicted to or what they have a habit for. I can be addicted to studies.
It means that a habit is invariably would lead to addiction, or could it be like
No, but
stop at
again, the need, the craving inside is important, no? What is the purpose for the habit to form, and what is it that is maintaining that becomes the addiction? There is some reinforcement or some reward that the person is getting because of the habit. What are the results? What are the consequences? I'm weak. I don't have confidence. So when I go home, I drink and go home because my wife may shout at me. So I need to drink, get confidence, go and shout at her.
So there is a reason behind it.
Oh yes, oh yes. Everybody has a reason.
To drink and also not to drink also.
Yes, both ways.
So we can't put the scale like
addiction becomes out of control. Habit is something where you can control, but addiction goes out of control.
So not
Once
necessarily
it's beyond your control, and you also, addiction is something that you want more, bigger quantities of. So what amount you had before, you need to have more. Like you drink 1 peg, you want 2, you want 3, you want 4. You're addicted to maybe having an affair, you want to have another affair, another affair. You're addicted to shopping. Buying 1 sari doesn't give me happiness, 10 saris gives me happiness. So that will keep increasing and that addiction becomes a challenge.
Yeah, I understand. So one more just extension of the same. If a choice is given, a restriction versus make them understand the situation, which one you prefer as an expert?
Depending on the age. If they are younger, restriction. Because they don't understand, they don't know. As they grow older, they have to think and understand reason. See, if you see, parenting should be, when we are young, we should have restriction. As they grow older, they're able to think independently, you give them freedom. But our parenting is like this. We give them freedom, and when they come to the teenage phase, we limit them.
Fine.
We say, don't do it.
No, in that case, our world, I mean, like world means the earlier, maybe during our childhood, the versus the parenting that we all had that time versus the present day parenting. Which one you prefer as an expert again?
Olden days. Because in the olden days, we had boundaries. We learned to live within boundaries. Today, there is no boundary. So I can do anything I want. I'll go rape. If I want, I'll go kill. I can do anything.
So
too much of freedom is also not.
Freedom is in the place. Fine, thank you.
If we want a society to live, we should have rules, regulations, boundaries, a system. If my mind wants it, I will do whatever I want. My brain is a monkey. It will jump everywhere and want to do everything. And then society with so many monkeys becomes difficult, no?
Anyhow, we are part of the game.
Yes.
So at times it's very difficult to to avoid.
Yes.
It becomes unavoidable.
And there are no hard and fast rules. It depends on the situation, circumstance, so many things, so many factors plays a role.
And also probably you have to also maybe understand from the kids' point of view, more so particularly when they go to their class in the school, again with that age restriction what you are referring to, they get compared themselves with their friend, and that's where sometimes they get challenged in a way where, oh, you have not done this, you didn't see that game, you didn't watch this, you did not read this, like this. When they get compared, then they become inferior. That's where they
Okay,
when
I'll
they
tell
come
you, and I'll
home,
tell you another point to this. I got your point. I got your
they
point.
want to cope up with that challenge. That's where at times probably if you leave them alone, they may not read it, they may not see it, they may not play it. But because their friends would be asking back in the school tomorrow, for them it is like a homework to finish it off before they go to school next day. At
Yeah,
times
if they're
that's
scared of friends,
challenge.
it's good. But you must also understand different parents have different mindsets. No two people are the same. Now, from the parents only are you the genetics. Definitely, like there is comparison at workplace, in the society outside. There is competition, comparison, even in our social world. Same way, our children who have our unique gene will also compare with the next man's genes. So that is part of survival in this world. We have to survive.
Survival instincts.
So, yes.
Understand.
But our inner configuration is different. So we have clashes only because of this configuration, which is not in tune with the next configuration. That's the clash. But
Wonderful.
Adjustment is inevitable. You have to adjust.
Again, age matters most. And with the time, when you, as a kid, maybe you are challenging your parents. When you become a parent, again, you say that
That's
your
another
parents,
story.
to understand
Yes.
your parents, once you become parent, you will understand your parents better than as you
Oh,
were
yes.
saying.
Oh, yes.
So again, age
You see
matters
all
most.
those love stories where these children violate their parents' norms. They don't listen to the mother. When they come 25, they will only listen to the mother.
Precisely. Now they understood
But at
mother better
15,
than the
yes.
lady.
No, and they understand the character of the mother. But then, they wanted a boyfriend, they wanted to freak out. So at that age, they wanted to oppose.
That's
So
true.
it takes time for this brain to mature.
Early the better. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Manasa.
So much.
Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the beautiful questions, everyone. So, masters, remember that if you give a topic, ma'am has a lot of experience that she can talk about the topic for hours together. She has so much of knowledge. She can talk. So we have to put right
A lot
question
of
to her.
patience also.
She has a lot of patience and she has a lot of knowledge, real-time experience, dealing everything in and out, all the age groups. So we need to put a right question to get meaningful answers, masters. So such a beautiful and informative session, ma'am. Thank you. I wish you visit us regularly and give us your wisdom to us.
Sure, sure.
We all
Thank
are
you so
in need
much.
of you.
Thank you for inviting me over. It was a surprise today, but it was a good surprise. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Stay tuned. You can get the number in the description box in YouTube. You can reach out to ma'am. And you'll also get the book to read. Bye.
Thank you.
Namaste, ma'am. Thank you.
Namaste.